Remember that one time when SpongeBob got fired from the Krusty Krab and 4 other restaurants in one day? Today, we'll be building those restaurants as well as expanding Downtown Bikini Bottom. Yo, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Build a Bikini Bottom, where we'll be building the 4 places that SpongeBob got fired from, and also expanding Downtown Bikini Bottom because that place really needs a expansion because it's been a while since we did that. So first of all, we have the first place that SpongeBob got fired from, which was Weenie Hut. And this is more like a barn shape building with a hot dog on top. Like, these buildings here are so literal, it's kind of insane. And personally, these were one of my favorite buildings from Bikini Bottom Tour Season 1. For some reason, honestly, I am still debating if I like this one better or the previous one better, which I built like nearly 10 or so years ago. So it's kind of saying how good my building skills were back in the day. Well, those were 10 years ago, it was more like 5 years ago, but you get the point. So up there is the sign that says Weenie Hut or whatever it says. And then we have its neighboring building, which is the Pizza Pie Hole Shop, which is literally a pizza on top of whatever the green thing is. Maybe it's a table or something, but it holds up this ginormous pizza or pie. And we go fill it with some beautiful cheese. And look at that beautiful thick crust. And of course we had to shift it away because it's like literally touching the Weenie Hut, and we can't have building touch each other, so you just move it a little bit, make it shape a little bit better, and then we're going to start actually building the actual restaurant itself. And get some nice delicious pepperoni, some cheese on it, and that will be it for Pie Hole, Pizza Pie Hole. Those signs were actually pretty interesting to make. I think I did a pretty good job with it. I know it's off-center, but it's actually off-center in real life as well, so in other words, I think it looks beautiful. Up next is the building that I actually had a pretty hard time building, which is the Taco something shop. This is the 3rd building that SpongeBob got fired from in one day, literally. And honestly, this restaurant was pretty difficult to build with its hat because I failed to realize it's actually more of a perfect shape rather than a piece hanging off. I hope I explained that right, but pretty much I kind of failed making this. It was needed to be more straight on the right and a little more curvy on the left, so more at the angle on the left. So that's why that was kind of a disaster for me. But anyway, a little moustache and some eyes or holiday decorations above that. And coming next to the spaghetti shop, which was the noodle shop in this case. And SpongeBob got fired from this really fast. We didn't even make inside the building at all. So yeah, it's literally just a Chinese box thing with noodles coming out of it. Nothing too much. And that's why I call these buildings so literal to each other. And then we're gonna finally get the big straw hat that actually looks somewhat good. So after that though, I think all 4 of these buildings looked, I would say pretty, okay, probably an A tier, maybe a B tier, but I think they look pretty good. And I think most people will be able to recognize them. Continuing with downtown here, we have the nose shop. This one's Patrick wanted to buy a new nose because he didn't have one apparently. You know, he does have one, but yeah, this is the shop where they shop for Patrick's new nose, and then of course got carried away with it. And you know, smelling stuff is something everyone takes for granted. So we could have a nose shop. Then right across the street from it, we have a statue here, and I'm not gonna tell you what the statue is. I want you guys to guess what this statue could be, but I give you a hint. It's pretty obvious. I think it's like super recognizable, I think, if you really think about it. So yeah, we go build a little statue backwards, and then go flip that. Don't worry, there we go, a little nice statue. Don't worry, you'll find out during cinematics what this statue is. So leave me in the comments below if you know what that statue could be before you actually see the cinematics. This is the arcade, a very rusted barrel, and believe me, this is like a barrel you put oil in. You do not want to go inside this barrel, but I mean, that's why we decided to put the arcade. That's fine. I mean, there's also another arcade as well. So I had 2 more arcades in the city, I believe. One in Glove World and one in downtown, so don't worry, we gonna make up for that. And this is one of the banks in Bikini Bottom. And honestly, this is probably my least favorite building because it really didn't look right. I didn't want to spend too much time making it look better, but it's pretty much like a crate, and that's literally it, with a little overhang canopy over the front. So there's not much to say. I kind of failed it. I wanted to kind of put in those like box crate streaks going across, but the blocks might look too big, so I had to like be very preservative of that. I didn't do that. I was thinking of doing that, but decided to stick with this design instead, just to make my life a little bit easier instead of dealing with like black and gray blocks. Because honestly, I just hate that building a lot, honestly, even in like real life. That's the hat shop. This is where Mystery, I think, was involved in this episode. I just don't remember where this was involved, but I believe Mystery was somehow involved. Mystery being the green seahorse. This building coming up here will definitely be part of the skyline, a permanent fixture of a very small tiny skyline, and this is called Bigshot Records, which I believe is a building, a real life building based in Los Angeles, but we go build it here because it was shown for a few seconds, so you know we had to build the whole thing. And this is honestly one of my most favorite buildings I built. Turned out better than I thought, much better than the bank, of course, and I think the hat shop was pretty good as well. But this building, I think, was the best building I built outside of the 4 shops that SpongeBob got fired from. Not including the Krusty Krab, because Krusty Krab looks even more amazing than this in my opinion. But yeah, this is Bigshot Records, which is where you can record and do your records and whatnot. It's pretty much solid window, solid with the words on it, and then window, and on top we go place some antennas on it because we need some antennas to send a signal to everyone in the city. So that's Bigshot Radio right there, nothing too much. And now we're going to be placing some more random homes all over the place. Now this building, I undersized it on purpose. I think this was pretty big in scale, but I didn't really want it to be so big inside the central of the Bikini Bottom. This is the BBTV, I believe. Bikini Bottom, or BNB, Bikini something Bottom, whatever it is. But yeah, it's definitely very small because I just didn't want to overpower everything. But I think it still looks good nevertheless. And we have another antenna because I think we have like 2 or 3 antennas already. Why add a 4th one? So it kind of made it much smaller, kind of make a sacrifice. And now we can really get into some random buildings, the random buildings that everyone lives in, which I think turned out pretty good. I have like a template right there with the red houses. That would be my base template of how I build a lot of these random houses to make the Bikini Bottom look a little more lively. I still try to figure out the landscape a little bit because we can't place seaweed on land, but I might be able to do something to make it look kind of feel like underwater in the landscape, which is my main goal of this, because I kind of want this to feel like an underwater place where the seaweed, in this case the leaves, are kind of flowing up. I think it'll be kind of good. And also, don't forget, next week is Thanksgiving. Let me check the calendar real quickly. Yes, Thanksgiving. So I need to make a Thanksgiving special of some type, which I'm thinking of gonna be like the farm or something like that. But no, stay tuned till next week because we're gonna be building something that reminds us of Thanksgiving. I still don't know what the thing is specifically, but you'll find out. We'll all find out. So getting some more buildings here, and don't worry, you won't get the traffic lights, all that stuff coming up in the future. Not this time because I need to figure out how to design street infrastructure, I guess, and I don't feel like doing it today. I just want to extend the skyline because I really want to get some more random houses so I don't have like a bottleneck of random houses to build all over the city. And of course downtown is like one of the most important areas I want to get done, so that is why you're seeing me place buildings like mad. So yeah, and behind this downtown could be even bigger buildings, not really taller buildings, but just bigger circular buildings which you see quite often. And now we're going to do our final touches and do all the good stuff. Some parking, recycling bins, trash cans, whatever is behind restaurants these days. Although naturally you want those across from your restaurant, but that works as well. And finally we've got instincts off with some street lights. So I see you all after the cinematics. Alrighty, we are here exploring Downtown Bikini Bottom, a beautiful, beautiful place from afar, and it just got even bigger. So honestly, I was reconsidering doing a walkthrough of this just because there's not too much to say. You really saw it during the cinematics and the time lapse, but just to keep things break, what these 4 buildings are is the 4 buildings that SpongeBob got fired from, and because he got fired from Krusty Krab because for whatever reason couldn't work or whatever, and then was the Winnie Hut. And inside this building and like the rest of them, there's really nothing in here because I want to prioritize building downtown rather than just doing these interiors, because those are more important. But I'll probably get that done at some point, and then after that you got 5 from this and to the pizza pie hole, and the exact same thing happened. Nothing in here, but it would just be like a random restaurant layout. Same thing with the taco place with its really, really tall hat. And for a really tall hat, I decided to put some hay bales, some yellow pterodactyl, and yellow concrete. And I think that's a pretty good match for a really random straw hat in my opinion. And of course, the same thing happened in this shop. So here we have the noodle shop, and this is the place that he got fired the fastest. But don't worry, I'll look at the end because, you know, Krabs realized he kind of needed his favorite best fry cook ever. So he eventually got his job back at the Krusty Krab. But yeah, that is, I don't think it's supposed to be here. I don't think so. Maybe it is. I don't think it should be. So we'll remove it anyways. Ha. But yep, all looked up at the end after a huge struggle between these 3 business owners with previously fired SpongeBob. So these are all the junk they produce and whatnot, you know, nothing much to say there. And this here, speaking of junk, this here is a statue of somebody, which I'm not going to say still. You saw in the cinematics already, but yep, this is the park, and right in the middle of it is bless you blank blank. And here's no shop where you can shop for your favorite nose. So some of these red buildings, I didn't really texture it just because I need to kind of figure out how everything would look like before I start texturing. So that's why it doesn't look too textured. But yeah, this is where I keep my layouts of all my buildings, which I'm going to place all around the city, mostly downtown and beyond. This is the very, very ugly bank, which I hate a lot still. Like, trust me, don't store your money here because it looks ugly. And you don't want to anyway, it's literally just a crate. Just a crate with a with nothing to it. This here is the arcade, which is one of the arcades in the city. In this case, this is the rusty breaking apart the barrel type of arcade, which is pretty bad, but also pretty amazing somehow. Even though I don't like it either way, but I think it looks good for a recreation of what I'm trying to rebuild. Here is BNB TV, which is the television station of all of Bikini Bottom. And like I said, and I undersized it because I just didn't want this to be from here all up to that red building and back. That would look ugly. It would have been like taking up almost this entire area. Nah, so I decided to do this. And if I really want to, further down the line, I could just extend it a little bit. Just make it a little bit bigger, but yeah. I think this looks beautiful for a city for like, what, 600 residences. I think this is big enough. Personally, I really do. And then finally, we have then we have the hat shop. This is a place I was forced to decorate, but it was pretty basic. Not too much stuff in here. I assume there's a lot of hats. Oh yeah, this is where Patrick wanted to go after the mystery episode, but he couldn't go inside because he had like the wooden plank over his forehead. So he actually couldn't get inside the shop itself, which is pretty ironic why I placed like 3 doors there, but whatever, it's there. And I think the hat shop is supposed to look like some type of mine or something like that, explosion mine or something like that. And then finally we have, well, these random buildings, but mostly this record place or record studio, whatever it's called. And this is by far one of the taller buildings. So it has like white glass, and the top has some antennas to broadcast what they need to broadcast. But yeah, this will pretty much do it for this episode 15, I believe, of Let's Build a Bikini Bottom. So if you like it, you know what to do. But really enjoy it, please consider subscribing. So this is it, and next time will be a Thanksgiving Thanksgiving special, I believe. So look at that beautiful downtown. Don't tell me you don't like this. So I see you all in the next one. Take care and toodles.